Hey, this is Andrew Ogeman, and today I want to show off an idea I have for a HOTS map. I've prototyped just some of the layout in the Starcraft map editor for you to see today. So I want this map to be, so I wanted to look into how would you add an Overwatch map to the map pool. So what I've done today is I wanted to capture the two mechanics that I see as the Overwatch mechanics are the tug of war mechanic used in the payload and the neutral capture point mechanic, and they're both very fun mechanics. So I wanted to see what I could do to kind of encapsulate those in a map. So this map, the point of this map is, in some ways, the base concept is similar to Towers of Doom. The core is invulnerable; it can't be directly attacked. You have to use the map objective to attack it. And the way you win the game is on this track in the middle of the map. This track in the middle of the map, there is this Colossus of sorts. Similar to the ones you see in the Volskaya Industries map in Overwatch. There's this giant robot on this track. And this track will be pushed back and forth using power, so power plants and power nodes, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the goal is to push the Colossus all the way down the track to your enemy's core. When it reaches your enemy's core, it destroys it. So there's no incremental damage in this map. It's just a push-pull that escalates over time. So the way you push is that the way I have it worked out right now, at least the idea is that each team starts with, in their base, has just a base coefficient of 1 push power. And so if the push power is even, it doesn't move. And if the push power favors one side, it begins to move in that side's favor. Like Towers of Doom, these towers are capturable by either team. And the goal, and capturing that gives you, these are also worth 1 push power. And so if you control all 4, you have 5 base push power to the enemy's 1. And so you'll start pushing in your favor. But any amount will push. So there's that. And then the other ways to push is, so the capturable power generators, the Merc camps, will not only push the lane, so this night camps, like this one up top, and these two down here, will push the lane, and they can help push into the towers. They also, for as long as you control them, until they respawn next, they give you a extra 0.25 push power. Similar with these siege camps, whatever fits in the Overwatch universe, these siege camps would be at 0.33 push power, and they also help to push down the lane. In this map, the boss does not actually push, but after you capture it, it provides an entire 1 push power for its entire respawn cycle. So it counts the same as an entire power generator if you can hold it for pushing. And then every so many minutes, an objective will spawn on the map. This is where the neutral capture point comes in, and these are like battery caches that can provide power to the Colossus to move it in your favor. So I've indicated these by these dirt areas around the map. There's one in the center on the track itself. There's these 4 in the middle, and then there's one down here in this neutral position. And the the push power off these is high. It's right now I'm thinking a coefficient of 4, but I considered 5 as well. But something significantly higher than everything else. And the way you capture these is it has a certain length of time it can be drained for, and it must remain uncontested for as long as you're draining it. So if one team has heroes inside this area, it will drain for them. If neither team has heroes inside the area, it will simply remain active until it gets drained out. And if both teams have heroes inside the area, then it will remain contested and it won't drain for either team until one team can clear the enemies off. So, a consideration when making this map was most of the HOTS map have these incremental damage mechanics to force an end to the game. Because if you don't, the game will drag on possibly indefinitely. So you need an escalation mechanic. So the escalation mechanic in this map, because there's no incremental damage, because it's a straight push-pull, is an escalation of push power. So everything on the map that gives you push power gives gradually increasing push power over the course of the map. So while they all start out at the coefficients I already mentioned, like a tower starts out at 1, it gradually scales up to 1.5, to 2, 2.5, so on over the course of the game. Which means that by later in the game, you have it gets to the point where that if you team wipe and you're just out of it, the enemy team can, by capturing a single capture point for the length, can push all the way to your core from wherever it is. So it becomes more punishing over time. I think the greatest challenge with refining this map would be to test those coefficients out and figure out the right speed. Because if it's too fast, then the game ends too quickly. One team wipe is enough, and it's just no fun for anyone. But if it's too slow, you can get stuck in these drawn-out slugfests that will never end. So the hardest part of balancing this map is to figure out what the proper rate of escalation is. The goal being that the game can't end before 7 to 10 minutes, but the game doesn't go longer than 20, 23, 25 minutes. To try and keep games within that range would be the idea with balancing those push amounts. I use creep here to indicate some potential vent spots or brush spots. There's definitely some open space like here, which probably needs to be filled more, but this is just a general idea of kind of layout you could have, and more so the way the mechanics work against each other. I really would like to see a hotspot map in Overwatch, and I think this is a good idea to try and encapsulate both mechanics. And it's got some familiar elements, like the Towers of Doom recapturing your towers and the enemy towers, and the core not being attacked, that would be familiar to players and help them learn. But it definitely has some unique mechanics as well, with no incremental damage and this push-pull where you're never out of the game until the game's over. I think this idea could have merit, and I think the main thing for me to do next, working on this, is to refine kind of the layout of the map. It probably needs some work right now. I don't think the vent placement is very good. There's some dead open space, and maybe that would be helped with like clutter and art assets, but I think there's definitely some space that needs to be worked out a little bit better. And then obviously testing would need to be done on the scaling of the escalation. That's it for now. I hope to revise this map more and possibly give an update later, but thanks for listening, and hope to see you next time.